So of course what I want to know is tell me some of the good, bad, and ugly that you've actually seen in this where people are like, I didn't realize that was going to be used in court. So any of those things, I think so many people think that email is private or that's on my phone and it's not going to be used. So what are some of the real life, wow, this really happened?
Not changing your password on your email, I think, is one of those things. So almost every married couple knows, I would hope at least, knows their spouse's password. And then you start going through the divorce process and you don't change your password and they have access to all of your emails. And look, they're not supposed to, but they're going to go in there and they're going to check it anyway. And there's a tremendous amount of stuff that they can find on your email that you're doing after the separation or during divorce. So that's a huge mistake. Just change all the passwords. I think another one is, and this happens a lot, people take videos of their kids to prove that their kid hates the other parent, right? So they'll take videos about, hey, how does the other parent treat you? And then their kid's crying, and they're kind of eliciting. It's an interview, right? They're eliciting information, and they bring it in and they say, look, this is proof that my kid doesn't like the other parent, or the other parent is abusive, or something like that. And universally, when that happens, I say, look, that is never ever going to see the light of day. Okay, so you don't delete it because you can't delete evidence in divorce cases. But we're not going to give that to the judge because no matter what, if we give that to the judge is going to look at you and say that you are the problem, that it is you, not the other person, because judges hate that sort of thing. Right. So that's very common. Don't do that. Another one is taking videos of parent time exchanges. So you drive to a location and then you get out and you start videoing the other person as they get out of the car, and they're videoing the kid as they get in the car. And I'm laughing, but this is really tragic. It's awful. Like, it just leads to humongous amounts of confrontation in front of a child, which is absolutely unnecessary and mean. Right. And then especially when you bring like third parties, because then the third parties get all upset and they start yelling at each other. And again, it's in front of the kid. And then people will bring that in, or they'll give it to the judge and say, look, this is the problem. I'm like, no, you're the problem. Like, the judge just says, you are the problem every time in that sort of situation. So just don't do any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So you mentioned deleting evidence, right? Walk me through like deleting stuff, right? Do people, like, they're splitting and all of a sudden, I mean, you see people like clear out their social media and act like someone didn't exist, but deleting text messages and stuff like that, what does that look like legally, right? I mean, obviously we can find it, but is it also like, hey, there's certain rules in place that you are not supposed to delete specific things? How does that work?
Yeah, realistically, when you're in litigation and when you file for a divorce, it's technically litigation. Even if you don't ever go to court, it's still litigation, right? So you are not supposed to spoliate. It's a nice legal term. Spoliate evidence, which means that you don't get to delete evidence, because we may want that evidence, right? And I have the right as an attorney to ask it of you. And also, so you're not supposed to do that. But here's the other thing. If you delete it, like, it's never gone anyway, and I can find it, but I'm going to know that you deleted it, which means that I get to go to the judge and say, hey, look, this person, I got this evidence, but she or he tried to delete it right up front, so there's got to be bad stuff, and who knows if there's other stuff out there that's even worse, right? And you're just planting that inside a judge's head, and that stuff's gold, right? If you can get a judge to not trust the other person because the other person is probably hiding evidence, like, you're going to win. You're almost always going to win those cases.